My brothers and sisters, greetings. Today we celebrate the 25th Sunday in Ordinary Time. Today's gospel is about God's generosity. Actually, all the workers, except the last ones, do not represent any group of people. Jesus included the early workers in his parable only so that he could emphasize that God is always just, but more importantly, he is generous. God is so generous to every human person that the last workers to go into the vineyard represent all of us. God offers his grace to every person. We need to try to understand why some people seem to reject God's grace. Our effort should be put into recognizing God's gracious generosity toward us. He has given us life, our families, this world to live in, and he has given us our Catholic faith. All is a grace, a gift from God. There is simply nothing that we can do to earn God's blessings. God's generosity is manifested during the celebration of the Holy Eucharist. He nourishes us with the body and the blood of his divine Son. We admit quite correctly, Lord, I am not worthy to receive you. The greatest saints, we are not worthy of the Eucharist. Even they did not earn such a wonderful sacrament. And yet, after we admit our unworthiness, Jesus invites us to come to him and to receive his body and blood in faith. And faith, it is that we should make us never complain to God as did the first workers, but always to give thanks and praise to our God, who beyond our imagining is generous to us. Another aspect we need to explain is that the usual daily wage in the parable is a symbol for the immense happiness we will all have in God's kingdom. Some individuals may be closer to God because they serve and love God more faithfully than others. But we will all be equal in one way, whether we receive God's grace early or late in life. We will all be as happy as we can possibly be. Jesus explained his forgiveness of sinners by this parable as well. St. Matthew found it helpful to use this same parable for a similar purpose when he wrote his gospel probably 50 or 60 years after Jesus preached it. During this period, many Jewish Christians who had lived their whole lives faithful to God's law had difficulty accepting new converts into the church. Converts coming from paganism, who represented those who came late to the vineyard. The parable was meant to help Jewish Christians welcome those who came to know Christ later in life and accept them as equals in God's kingdom. God's ways are not our ways, my brothers and sisters. God's ways is without measure, without limit. As human beings, we think sometimes God's ways is weird, but it is the one who will bring us life. It is the one who will show us the way to his heavenly kingdom. May God continue to be with you and give you his blessing.